me and Brittany decided to go to Coachella this year, which is not something I ever thought I would actually do.
To say that I was surprised when you said that you wanted to go would be an understatement. Everyone loves Coachella or that type of environment because it's essentially a playground for the inner child.
I do not have any connection to my inner child. I've never acted my age. If you have severed yourself from the childhood version of yourself, everything like that, you chop up to being unproductive. A lot of the work that I'm doing in therapy right now is trying to figure out how I can bridge the gap between me now, Hannah, and a child version of myself.
That I'm wearing a fucking tank top and it says in big bold red letters, I have literally never met a man.
I'm never going to be super vulgar and inappropriate, but I will say if someone's been inside you, they must say hi to you. It's interesting as we get older, what is uncovered around the judgment that we have against ourselves.
It's not even necessarily the judgment you have against your current self. It's the judgment you have against your 6-year-old self. If someone shows up in a costume one time, you'll probably be fooled by them. But the next time they show up in that costume, you will see them coming from a mile down the street.
It wasn't as fun as it looks.
There's a lot you don't see. It's definitely very curated. When you had said that you were down to go to the Do Lab to see John Summit, I was like, no way.
Me next to John Summit, just like everyone picture it, terrifying. It doesn't have to be so serious all the time. And I've gotten more curious as to like, why am I okay with being the 40-year-old in the 29-year-old body? You're listening to How I See It, hosted by Han. You guessed it, that's me. I am here to motivate and inspire you with guests from all different industries and backgrounds. So get ready for personal stories of success, of growth, full of highs and lows, and of course, unapologetic realness. This is How I See It. Okay, you guys, I'm excited because one of my favorite people in the world is here today. Brittany is back. We haven't had her on in a while. I feel like since we've moved to in person, you haven't been on yet, which is really exciting. But we thought we would come on and kind of do like a Coachella recap. We decided to go this year. Usually we go just for like the work events and like influencer activations and stuff. But we decided to go into the festival this year and we have some thoughts. So Brittany, welcome to the podcast in person.
Thank you for having me back.
I know, isn't it exciting to be in person?
It is exciting to be in person.
It's so different. It's like such a different energy.
It is different.
But let's get into it. So me and Brittany decided to go to Coachella this year, which I feel like I would never go to Coachella, like ever. It's not something I ever thought I would actually do. But this year, just the stars kind of aligned. We were offered artist passes and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's do it.
To say that I was surprised when you said that you wanted to go into the festival would be an understatement. I was really surprised.
Well, I think, okay, so like I feel like I've been, as the podcast knows too, like I'm back in therapy. I've been really doing like different work and just embarking on the next chapters of my healing journey. And something just like that's kind of like something I've joked about, I've said it here a bunch, is like I've always felt like I'm like a 40-year-old inside. Like I've like never acted my age at all. And so I think when it came up, especially during this time where I've just been kind of like doing the work and being like a little bit chaotic and letting go of some people, having to like kind of just step into this new chapter, I feel like I was like, fuck it. Like I'm going to act my age for once and we're going to go to Coachella and we're going to do it the most VIP we can.
Yeah, it was we thought we were doing it VIP. We tried.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to talk about that for a second because I feel there's a lot of misconceptions with Coachella. Like, for instance, I feel like everybody was commenting on my stories like, I have so much FOMO. I have so much FOMO, like, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, I don't want to be like a complainer. Like, we had fun. But also, I do think Coachella is a little bit overrated, especially like the artist pass situation.
There's a huge glamorization of having artist passes and what that means. I even had sent you while we were there, we saw a reel someone put up of like, this is what you get for artist pass, and they walk you through the artist compound. Even seeing that video, it just is not the same. It's not
No.
what's being sold to you.
No, here's the thing. You're paying a certain amount of money for this artist pass. Awesome. You get to be a little bit more VIP than the VIPs. Awesome. But what they don't tell you is that you cannot be dropped off in the VIP area when you get to the festival if you do not pay for the extra $3,000 for a permit. So therefore, you have to get dropped off where everybody else is getting dropped off, which means you can't exit like in a VIP way. You have to go the same way that everybody else is going, and it's miserable. It's not fun.
Yeah, if you've never been, when we're talking about entering and exiting the festival, we are talking about like a multiple mile pilgrimage.
No, it's like it's no fucking joke. And then like they promise you golf carts where you can like go between stages in the back, which sounds like fabulous. And then you get on a golf cart and then no one ever comes back for you. And then you ask them to take you back and they have no idea what you're talking about. They're asking you like which artist you're with and you're like, I don't know. I just paid for this pass to be able to like get around freely and you don't get access to anything.
They claim free drinks, they claim free catering, they claim a bunch of shit that you never see.
I was not happy.
It got better, but day one, I think we asked over 10 different people working at the festival, including the person at like the frequently asked questions, like info booth, what we were supposed to do, where the fuck we were supposed to go. Nobody knew a single thing about artist passes, couldn't help us. It was
not glamorous.
not glamorous.
Our outfits were, and that's about it.
Yeah, we looked incredible.
Yeah, we looked great.
Chaos.
Yeah, I think I would go back and do it maybe VIP if I were to go back again. But quite frankly, I just don't know if it's my scene. And I think at the end of the day, like, it's just, I can't do the whole like dancing excited thing like everybody else can.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't
okay.
have to be for everyone. I think that, I don't know, like for example, like you would not catch me dead at an EDM festival. Like you just would not. Like that sounds so scary to me. But I love Coachella. Like I love actually being inside of the festival. I would go to another music festival next weekend.
What do you think it is about it that you like? Why do people love Coachella? Why do people love going to festivals?
So I think, and I sent you a reel on this. Honestly, I didn't know. I think I would just chalk it up to like, oh, it's fun. Like people think it's fun. Because I don't think there's a single person, like let's just be honest, who's like, I really love music and that's why I'm at Coachella. Like you could save it.
Yeah, you could watch it on the TV.
Yeah, save it. Like you would go see your favorite artist like in person in a much more intimate setting that was more, took the music seriously if that's why everyone was there. But the reel was essentially a girl talking about how everyone loves Coachella or that type of environment because it's essentially a playground for the inner child. It's not, you know, the adult, like buttoned up professional version of you that's running around in a field and like listening to a ton of music and dancing like a crazy person. Like that's your 7-year-old self. That's your 5-year-old self. That's your 10-year-old self who's getting a moment to just cut loose and shine and be free. And I think for me, like that's why I love those environments. And I decided to go to Coachella this year and, you know, Coachella's expensive. It's not for people who are strapped on budget, even if you're camping.
Yeah.
But I decided to put in that investment for my inner child because I'm coming out of such a heavy, really dark season of my life. And I think I deserve to let like little me go dance around a field.
Yeah, I was really intrigued by this take that you mentioned to me. And I think it explains a lot about why I struggle in these environments because I do not have any connection to my inner child. I feel like I've slightly opened up about it on the podcast already, but I feel like a lot of the work that I'm doing in therapy right now is trying to figure out how I can bridge the gap between me now, Hannah, and a child version of myself without being cringed out, without being ashamed, without being embarrassed, and quite frankly, without like feeling like nothing towards it. And so I think when you sent me this reel, I thought it was really interesting that I, for my entire life, like the joke has always been like, oh, I'm an adult in, like I've always been an adult in a child's body, but I think I was never given like the freedom to be a child. And so I think I never developed like the fun side of that. I mean, aside from like, obviously like I don't do drugs. I'm not like a partier, but I think that was always like the surface reason of why I didn't like these environments. I think if I were to go like a layer deeper, I would say that like, I just don't get it. Like I don't get how people could like, and I love you, of course, so I'm not judging you, but even like the freedom of you putting your hands in the air and like dancing and like having fun, like that's just something that like does not come to me. Like I don't have that. And like watching everybody like laughing and like goofing around is almost like odd to me. Like, and it's not like a judgment. I think it's more of just like I don't get it. And I like these environments because I like the work side of it. So I think it's like fun to like get a cocktail, like talk, hang out. But I don't think I've ever felt like, and I still don't, the reel really made me think about like my life now. I don't really have anything that is like for my inner child.
But I think in terms of your healing journey, it makes a lot of sense. Those authentic moments of me like sprinting around in the field, like with my hands in the air, like a 7-year-old, is that version of me. That's like getting a chance to run around and play.
And it's interesting because I always thought people were being performative. So I think it used to be judgment for a long time because I'd be like, this is so childish. Like that's the judgment.
But
this
that's
is
the
so
point.
childish.
But that's the point.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And I do feel like, and again, there's like caveats because I do think there are some people that are very fucking performative at Coachella. But I do think, to your point, people enjoy it for a reason. And it's not all about like the drugs. And I think I just like am not tapped in to that like at all. And it's definitely interesting for me because I do see how like even like my brother came to like 818 and he's like dancing and like you guys are having fun and I'm just like kind of uninterested. I like the example you give of the swings.
Yeah, so Revolve has their iconic swing ride. Everyone knows it from Revolve Festival, and I really wanted to go on it. And I was giggling, laughing, literally kicking my feet. There's actually there's just like hilarious photos of
And
us.
this is like pre-mushrooms. Like we're not drunk
we're sober.
This is sober. Like we've had one cocktail maybe.
I've had like 2 sips of my first drink.
Yeah.
And I am kicking my feet in the air. I'm laughing. I'm like twisting the thing around. I'm like, this is so fun. And you were like, I don't think I like this. Like
I was like this. I mean, if you're watching, you can see I was like, like holding.
You're like death gripping the
but I'm not scared.
Metal.
I just was like, this is kind of miserable.
And you were like, I think you said verbatim, and it was while we were in the air, and you were like, I think I'm uncomfortable. But it makes sense like why you would be uncomfortable in the concept of like these things are meant for your inner child. Like my 32-year-old self wasn't the person who enjoyed like being on the swings. It's that part of me that's still like that 7-year-old.
It's so intriguing to me. And I wasn't like annoyed. Like it's like, whatever, I'll do it. But like to me, it's like, oh, I have to set my cocktail down. I have to set my cocktail down and I have to go on this thing. And then it's going to be like for fun. To me, it feels unproductive. And I think like a lot of people actually struggle with this. I don't think it's just me. I think that if you have severed yourself from the childhood version of yourself or you are not in touch with like your inner child for whatever reason, I think that everything like that you chop up to being unproductive, inefficient.
Or it's kind of just what's the point?
Waste of time, embarrassing, childish. Maybe when I was younger and not as like mature and self-aware, it would be judgment like towards others. And in reality, I think it's always just been judgment towards myself to even like explore that, or maybe a little bit of confusion on why I like can't relate.
I actually talked about this a lot in my therapy session this week, which all of my therapy stuff, we do parts work, which is why when I'm talking about even this, I'm talking about the 7-year-old self as like a part.
Yeah.
Like the Russian doll inside of me. And I feel like when it comes to this specific topic, she had talked about like the child version of me isn't the version that I lock in the dark closet and like shame. It's the teenage version of me. And I feel like talking with her about all the ways in which like putting that person like in the closet or not letting them fully integrate into me has affected my life. And I think it comes out in a lot of ways that suck more than just not enjoying a festival. And I think it amounts to more than just that. But it was a really eye-opening conversation in terms of it making sense why these environments don't feel good to you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I love music too, and I love performance, and I feel like I even find it embarrassing to like dance to like a performer. Like I enjoy it. I like listening to it. I'll like switch my weight from side to side. Like this is, I always forget people can't, if they're not watching, they can't see me. But like something about even like exuding like that much like excitement about something, again, like the surface level feels embarrassing, but I don't think it's embarrassing. I think it's just kind of like I don't even know how to do that, especially when like your work is your passion and like truly like what makes your like heart feel like lit up. And also when you don't have like a good healthy relationship to your inner child, there's like not much like you can like look to like try to access that. So I think like a lot of my work recently is trying to figure out like, okay, not only like how can I like heal this connection so that I can relate and feel empathy towards like the younger version of myself that maybe didn't have the freedom or safety to do these things. And also like how can I find like little ways to make me happy and give me joy um that maybe I've never like explored before since like I never had the freedom to explore it when I was younger. If that makes sense.
It does make sense. And I feel like it begs the question, like, I am curious as you continue along this healing journey with your inner child and you start to allow her to come out of the dark closet and integrate her into yourself, if you would find it easier to go to a music festival or to dance, or I think we've had this conversation before about even developing hobbies that aren't related to a revenue stream or income. And if it would help you re-find the point, I guess, in doing them, because the point is for like them, like that version of you.
Well, yeah. And I don't think I've ever, honestly, if we're being really honest, I don't think I've ever developed enough self-love to do something that's not productive. So like I think it's about like healing those things so that you can even access like what could possibly make me comfortable in those situations. But I do think it was a big step to even like want to go.
I was
Because
so proud of you.
Yeah, because usually it's just work. And so like, and the events are fun. I find them to be fun, but it's still work. I have to like shoot. I'm doing brand campaigns. You're enjoying some cocktails, but like, it's not like real fun. Like where we're not actually like stressed, where I'm not like, okay, we got to like shoot this. I'm looking at my email. I'm trying to get like the address to
Well,
like
to your
this.
point, it's productive fun.
Yeah, it's productive fun. And it's like the only kind of fun I've ever really allowed like myself to have at that level. And so I am proud that I like put myself in the environment. And I quite frankly like wasn't as miserable as I would have been in the past. I was miserable that like we had to walk so much and that our fucking Uber driver was an asshole and that like the golf cart people didn't know how to bring us back from John's Summit. Like me next to John Summit, just like everyone picture it, like terrifying. I hung in there and I was like, oh, this isn't like awful. And I wasn't like looking around like I normally would be like judging people. No, and again, like I don't think that judgment is me being mean. I think it's like a projection of like me judging myself. So I do think it was like a big step to even just be there and like enjoy and like get cocktails and sit and watch some music and like go into the crowd and like dance to Somber. So like we're working on it. We're working on it. But it's interesting that like it came up in therapy for me this week, literally, that like I mean, it's been coming up, but in a big way, my therapist pointed out like, oh my God, like you have never been to like a club before? And I was like, no, one time we got paid to go and like, that's it, like for Super Bowl. But like, no, I just find it to be embarrassing. Like that word like kept coming up. And then like you sent that reel to me. And so, yeah, I think it's interesting as we get older, like what is uncovered around the judgment that we have against ourselves. Because I think when you're younger, it's like the judgment against everyone else. But if I think we were to look closely at the judgments we have and get curious, we would actually find that they're all judgments we have about ourselves.
And to bring it back to my discussion this week in therapy, it's not even necessarily the judgment you have against your current self. It's the judgment you have against your 13-year-old self, the judgment you have against your 6-year-old self for things that previous versions of you did that you no longer align with or whatever. And so it's the shaming of who you've been.
Yes, or who you were forced to be. If you were never able to feel safe in like an emotion, whether it's a negative one or a positive one, then you're going to like gaslight yourself as an adult or judge if other people feel free to do that. And I think it takes like being curious and actually asking yourself like, why do I judge this so hard? And again, this is like, I'm always going to judge people who do drugs all the time. I'm just going to fucking say it, you know? But I do think it doesn't have to be so serious all the time. And I've gotten more curious as to like, why am I okay with being the 40-year-old in the 29-year-old body? Like, why am I so like okay with that? Why do I wear that as like a flex? When in reality, I should be more like, it's okay to like not be serious all the time. So like, what are some ways you've maybe been depriving yourself and your inner child of experiences as an adult that can be fun and fulfilling and memorable with your best friend?
Yeah. And I will say like, I'm so proud of you for going. And like for even when you had said that you were down to go to the Do Lab to see John Summit, I was like, no way that you're about to do this like with me / for me. I was like, that is amazing. But I even think you being there and being in the crowds, like
I think I was like, this is scary.
you were.
But it was good.
Yeah, but
It
it
was
was
cool.
amazing.
It was giving Dune.
Yes. The energy at John Summit popping up at the Do Lab surprise guest was insane. And I'm happy that you got to be there. And he went a little more hardcore, like dubby, which I'm sure was a little scary for you. But I was so proud of you for going to Coachella, but also like even on Sunday, like hanging out at the Do Lab for a little, like I was really surprised that you did that. I'm like so proud of you for doing it, especially because when we agreed to go to Coachella, you were like, there are some rules, no scary dance parties. Yeah. And so I was like, you know what? I don't need to go to those stages. Like, I'm good. Like, and I'm happy that you did it.
I compromised slightly.
Yeah. And even if it was uncomfortable, I still think that those things were progress towards doing some healing and like at least putting yourself and your inner child in an environment in which you can like.
Well, I had to practice what I preach. And I feel like I say it here a lot, like get uncomfortable for the sake of real comfortability. And I do think like at every part of your healing journey, at every single chapter, you have to face that question again and again and again. And you kind of have to call yourself out on your shit. Like, are you going to keep getting uncomfortable or is this too uncomfortable now? But don't you want the best for yourself? Like, don't you want to live up to your potential? And I think we're constantly, having to weigh on the scale of like, do you want to level up or do you want to stay back? And I think there are costs with both and we all have a free choice. And I think for me, I was like, and this is always the case because, if you have a mental health podcast, it's like, you're like going to be a hypocrite if you keep saying over and over, like get uncomfortable for the sake of real comfortability.
I mean, I think it's also a testament to all the work you've been doing because I think last year this would have been out of the question for you.
Oh, yeah.
And so the fact that you've done all this work and so this year you were a little more open to it or to putting yourself in an environment that would have challenged you and made you reflect a little bit was, I think, illustrative of how far you've come even over the last year.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it. So, I mean, if you could get anything from this, I would say like do something for your inner child, but also don't glamorize Coachella. Because like, though I went out of my comfort zone and it was not fun. It's just like, it wasn't as fun as it looks. Just so everybody knows.
Yeah. Even looking back on my own content, I was like,
it looks lit.
It looks.
Wait, I'm embarrassed I said that. I'm cutting it out. It looked very fun. Actually, I may not cut it out. But like it looked very fun. And it's not that it wasn't, but it like on Instagram, you guys, like it's just not the same. Don't have FOMO.
Yeah, you're not seeing the massive crowds. You're not seeing like getting shoved and pushed. You're not seeing all the dust. Like you're not seeing the $20, lemonades. Like I just, there's a lot you don't see. It's definitely very curated. It's still fun, but I think that there were so many people looking at the content and thinking it was something it wasn't. Like, just for example, everyone's flipping out over Justin Bieber's performance and is saying, like, I can't believe I missed this, blah, blah, blah. The first 40 minutes of his performance, people were leaving, people were booing. He sang literal, like, Christian hymns.
Yeah.
He was going way too soft. It was music nobody had heard before. People were literally leaving.
Yawning.
And yawning, sitting down, booing him. Like, nobody was having a fun time. I think I turned to you twice and said, is he okay? Like, do we leave?
Yeah. It didn't get amazing till like he brought out the laptop halfway through.
The last 20 minutes.
Yeah. It was, which was epic and worth it. And also I have to say, like, speaking of fucking inner child, like that was like the theme the entire weekend. Like his whole singing to his younger self like really moved me. I like definitely started tearing up and I was like, is this me reflecting like right now? Like, am I having an emotional moment? Because I do think Justin is a great example, whether like we don't know what has happened to him, but he's a great example, obviously, of someone who's had to like come back to the child version of himself. So I thought that was beautiful and moving. But the first like 30, 40 minutes was like.
But of course, nobody sees that on social media.
And no one's talking about it.
You're only seeing the 20 minutes that were fucking mind-blowing because he was playing like Baby and One Less Lonely Girl.
Yeah,
but that was a small portion of the whole thing. And when I've told people that, they're so surprised because they were like, oh, on Instagram. And I'm like, yeah.
I'm shocked no one shared the Hallelujah song or anything or like talked about it. I think we just all love him so much. And so we were like, okay.
Yeah, and then everyone was in mass hysteria over the last 20 minutes. And it's just like funny how it's been curated on Instagram.
Oh, it's so curated. Even the influencer events. I could go on a whole rant about this because I've been in the industry for so long. But like, I just feel like people think, and again, two things can exist at one time. I'm so grateful to be there. It is fun, but it is not what it looks like online, which is like everything. I mean, you're literally around people who think they're the shit. Like everyone thinks they're the shit. There's so much self-importance. There are so many kind people, but there are always people that are like odd, but that's just the industry and you have to like accept it for what it is. There are even fucking people that you may have hooked up with before that don't say hi to you and don't acknowledge your presence. Like, I'm never going to be super vulgar and inappropriate, but I will say if someone's been inside you, they must say hi to you. If you've been inside someone, you should say hi. Like, I don't understand.
That's a disclaimer. I mean, there's a whole, I think, really important movement calling men out on their shit right now.
Yes, you need to tell people the shirt you wore on the last day.
So last day I was like, you know what? I'm wearing jeans and I'm wearing a fucking tank top. And it says in big, bold red letters, I have literally never met a man.
It's great.
You know what? Like, it was an opportunity to get in front of a lot of people. And I was like, all of you need to read this. Like, Coachella was great. One of my favorite parts of it was walking around watching men's reactions as they read my t-shirt.
Yeah, it was good. No, and I think it's like something we've been talking about for a while in private. And I think a lot of women online are speaking about it and speaking to each other about it. The amount of compliments you got on your shirt from women, but it wasn't like them laughing. Like they were like acknowledging your shirt, like, I like your shirt. Because I think women are feeling like and I'm not even trying to hate on men. I just feel like women are feeling very defeated right now about finding like real men who can like offer value and emotional support, who are respectful, like bare minimum things. And I mean, I'm joking about it, but like the fact that I like hooked up with this guy for like many years on and off. And then every year I would see him as he's like stepped into his like TikTok life and he would never acknowledge my presence. And then we saw him again for like the third year. And I finally like looked at Brittany and I was just like, I cannot believe this. And then he was forced to like kind of say hi to me at the end because we were like so close. And he acted like shocked to see me. Like he wasn't looking at me the entire time. Is this what we get? Like, and it was this reflection of, and maybe that's my frontal lobe developing a little bit of just like, ew, like I cannot believe I was like sleeping with someone on and off when I was younger that like isn't even man enough to say hi. Like, it's weird. And we didn't end on bad terms. We weren't even dating. It was just like a friends with benefits thing. But like, if you're sleeping with someone, like at least have enough respect to acknowledge their presence.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know.
I don't think that's rare either.
And no, I think that that's unfortunately the norm. And I think like it's just gotten to be so bad. And to your point, no one was looking at my shirt like, yes, like, ha ha ha. Like they were like, yeah, like
your shirt.
too. Like your shirt. We're all out here. It was more defeated than it was like trying to like hype up and like laugh at the shirt.
Yeah, well, and I feel like again, I feel like I don't want to get canceled. Not that there's any men here. We have a 90% women listenership, so I'm not feeling that bad. But like, that doesn't mean there aren't women that suck too. Like, I've heard some fucking horror stories recently from some of the guys in my life. But I will say this has been happening for a while. I truly believe women are evolving at a high rate where they do not need men for security anymore. Women are starting their own businesses. They have really good careers. And men are not evolving with us. I don't think they are developing the emotional capacity they need or the emotional availability they need to be a woman's partner right now. And again, we could go on a whole rant, maybe on a different episode about the fact that maybe men don't have the safe space to do that at a young age or whatever it is. I just know that I haven't really ever met a man and I'm almost 30.
Same. And it's funny, like so many people were like strangely triggered by the shirt because I was
blasting
it all over.
My dad was triggered by the shirt.
Of course he was.
My dad was totally triggered
by the shirt. I got a DM from a guy that I recently hooked up with who was like, take it back, like except for me. And this is a guy who after I hooked up with him,
air it out,
never even bothered to text me to see if I got home safe, text me the next morning and be like, I had fun last night. Like literally just like
bare minimum.
Left and never spoke to him again. And you want to call yourself a man. Like, let's just like take a step back. Like, no, I think a man would have at the very least checked to make sure I got home safe. Like a real man would have called me an Uber home.
Yeah, if you've been inside, you got to say hi. I just bare minimum. Like I couldn't even imagine hooking up with someone and then them being at the same bar as me at an event and then me like ignoring them. That's weird. I couldn't imagine sleeping with someone and them leaving my house and again, like no expectation, but just being kind enough because we did an intimate act to be like, hey, got home safe, right? Question mark. And then be like, had fun. Like, have a good trip back to California.
Yeah.
Like,
it's
bare
very
minimum.
It's very easy. And then to have the audacity to go back and be like, take it back, I'm a man. Like, you met me. And I'm like, the jury's still out, my friend.
Yeah, I think this also speaks to like getting older as well. I think when you're young, especially as a woman, I don't know the male experience. Like, I just feel like you think you have to do so many things and it's so performative, like so much of it. I talked about this in the sex episode recently that I had with that guest, Vera. I just feel like you do things because you think they're going to be enjoyable or you're like okay with a lower standard because you think that's just how it is. And then you get older, your frontal lobe develops, you have like a sexual encounter with a quote unquote man and you're like, whoa, like this is actually pretty crazy. Like this is not a standard I should be accepting. This is like an intimate thing we're doing. And like, whatever, have fun, hook up with random people, like no judgment whatsoever. But also let's have respect for women.
Yeah, let's have respect for women and like let's not confuse yourself. Like if a woman is choosing to have fun, casual sex with you, it doesn't mean she doesn't respect herself or doesn't expect you to respect her enough to at least make sure she got home safe.
Yeah, it was a good moment for me though too, because I felt like it was so interesting to see, and like no hate towards this guy, like whatever. But like I just think like it was interesting for me to like see this person and me be at such a different place than I was when I was hooking up with this person like years ago.
Yeah.
And be like icked out now by this behavior. And I was like, wow, like you grow up, you learn, your frontal lobe develops, and you like realize like, hey, like I had a responsibility in this too. And I have a responsibility now, like moving forward of like who I'm going to pick to like interact with, whether that's dating, whether that's hooking up, whether that's whatever.
Yeah, that's a good point because it is not just like on the men. Like women, we can't like choose shitty men who won't meet the bare minimum threshold, continue to choose them after that's been proven to us, and then still point the finger.
Totally. I think we're both in a place now though, where like one bad disrespectful interaction and we're kind of like, okay, goodbye.
Yeah, my therapist put this as such like an amazing way, which is that if someone shows up in a costume one time, you'll probably be fooled by them. But the next time they show up in that costume or somebody else does, you will see them coming from a mile down the street.
Yeah, you will. Speaking of men, speaking of real men, can we talk about our Coachella angel?
Oh my God.
We have to share this story.
We were down so incredibly bad. It's day 2. We have a driver. What was the driver?
We had like an Uber driver that was like trying to get us as close as he possibly could to the entrance.
Doesn't work out. All the streets are closed off. We try to hire another random guy who claims he has a pass. It's gridlocked. And I'm like, we have no option but to walk the couple of miles into the festival. Like there is no other option. At this point, like I'm like, we are not quiet girls who won't ask for something or won't advocate for ourselves. We see a guy
on a golf
cart. And I'm like, fuck it. We just have like, I'm like flagging him down. I'm like, can you help us?
Like we have artist pass.
We have artist pass. Can you help us? No one's being helpful. We don't know how to use the golf carts. And he literally was like, man, like you guys are so lucky that you just stopped me.
He was going to the stages.
Sweetest man. We were on this golf cart like full speed for like 10 minutes. Like that's how long the walk was.
Brittany, I think it was longer. Like I think it was slightly longer. It was not a couple miles we were going to have to walk. Me and Brittany kept looking at each other, just like mouth open, shock. Like we wouldn't have made it to Somber in time. And we had gotten out of the car with like 40 minutes still till the set. And we got to Somber maybe like right before he like went on or like right as he was going on.
Mm-hmm.
So like this man drove us in the golf cart for miles.
Got out, walked us in. Like he was actually
an angel.
Saved the day.
It would have been my 13th reason. I'm not trying to be like insensitive, but
you were nearing an end point of like, I don't care to go in here. So I don't care to walk 3 miles right now.
It was not cool.
In these boots. It was just not cool, especially because it wasn't the experience that we thought we were getting or that we paid for. And like, it just wasn't the experience that was sold under Artist Pass. And so.
But Kia, Angel Kia, I think that's his name.
Kia.
Oh my God. He saved the day. He saved the weekend. He truly did. He saved the vibe of that night.
I think there's a fine line between being like, I'm going to get what I want and be loud about it, and understanding that you need to advocate for yourself, because there were so many wait times and like lines and unnecessary things that I think we avoided through the weekend by just using our voice and
Yeah.
like not being afraid to take a little risk, or like I'm not going to like go into the fact that we like moved cones and stuff.
Oh yeah, we moved to Cone. We totally did. I mean, here's the thing, and this is on entrepreneurship. Like, I just think like you will never get what you don't ask for. The only thing that separates people from moving to the next level is that they are brave enough to ask, they're confident enough to, and courageous enough to see how far they can push the limits. And I think it's just balancing respect. Like, you can never be disrespectful, but at the end of the day, like, we're stuck in a gridlock. And we see that the entrance to the general admission parking lot on the last day is on the other side. There's no one coming, and there's this random orange cone. I'm going to be like, Brittany, get out of the car. We're moving the cone, and I'm going to off-road.
We would have been waiting for another bare minimum of 30 minutes. And I looked at her and I was like, do you think that your car can go over the curb?
And I was like, yeah.
And she was like, get out and move the cone. Like, we saved ourselves so much time. Like,
and we probably started a trend. We have no idea what happened behind us after that.
What happened after that is honestly none of our business.
Exactly. No, I just think like you have to ask and like think. I think a lot of people, again, to your point, would have been embarrassed to like wave down a golf cart and get rejected. Like, I just think a lot of people are scared of rejection. And this is like kind of a like low stakes example. But I do think like if you wouldn't have waved that guy down and he wouldn't have came up and you wouldn't have been brave enough or just like honest enough to be like, hey, we have these passes. Like, can you help us? We would have walked for over an hour. Like, it would have been miserable. It would have been miserable.
I also think Somber was one of the best sets of all of Coachella.
Yeah, so
and
much
we
fun.
would have missed it, which would have been catastrophic.
So much fun. So much fun. Okay, well, I have to end the episode like this. We can't break a trend. Looking back at, I'll say, your Coachella experience, ups and downs, realizations, how do you see it all? How do you see it?
How do I see Coachella?
Yeah, how do you see the experience?
I see Coachella as worth it if you don't expect it to be what you see on Instagram.
Yeah.
I think it's worth it for cutting loose, letting your inner child have some fun, dancing around. I personally found so much value in that, but Instagram is a highlight reel. It's not going to be what you see on there. So if you're open for a real like down and dirty music festival experience, absolutely go and have a fun time, but don't expect it to be the polished, pretty version that you see all the influencers posting.
And then if I were to ask you, how do you see the work you've done so far on healing versions of your inner child? What would you say? Because I think a lot of people really struggle, like me, to tap into their inner child and reconnect and heal that version of themselves that they're maybe ashamed of or judgmental of.
I think that going there and letting that part of me like unashamed run free and dance and laugh and be silly was so healing in and of itself. I think that the more you put yourself in those environments and give your inner child an opportunity to come out, to have fun, to shine, to play, the more comfortable it'll get. It's not going to get any more comfortable to confront these parts of yourself that you've kept in the closet in the back of the house, unless you put yourself in environments to really let that part of you shine. But I think it was really eye-opening for me actually after Coachella, of just seeing how your relationship to your inner child impacted your experience there. And it opened up this whole can of worms of me exploring how constantly shaming my teenage self has really impacted me, because your inner child is the fun, the play, the silliness. And so that is how it impacts you. But your teenager is like your confidence, the person who's finding their voice, establishing who they are in the world, like being sure of themselves. And it's been really interesting in the aftermath of watching how it impacted you at Coachella, really turn the lens inward on and get honest about how constantly shaming the teenage version of myself has impacted my ability to dream big, to make confident decisions, to do all the things that your teenage self is responsible for teaching you.
Yeah, I actually was really moved by your reaction at the pool on our last day when you got emotional about like how much fun you were having. Because to me, like, that's so foreign. And so I think it was also really inspiring for me to see you get emotional about how much fun you've had and how much you needed it. Because to me, it was a very clear example and like tangible evidence that like when you allow yourself to have fun, you can have emotional breakthroughs and like it can impact you and feel very healing. So I think as someone who really likes to have like that tangible evidence and control, to see someone actually like positively impacted by letting their inner child out was really moving for me too.
Yeah, it was kind of a weird moment, honestly. It came on really suddenly. Like,
I felt bad sort of because I was like, wait, can you give me some context of what's happening right now?
Yeah, I just started crying. I was like looking at my own sounds so stupid. I was looking at my own post on
Honestly,
Instagram,
relatable.
looking at my own carousel and started crying. And I just was like, wow, I look so happy. Like I haven't seen that version of myself in so long. I mean, like I said, I'm coming out of a very dark, very heavy cycle of my life. And to see myself in a photo look like the version of me that I've been trying to get back to, and like look at me just like shining and having fun. Like I looked like I had gotten my sparkle back. And yeah, like it sounds crazy because it's like, oh, it's just a music festival. But I think for us and for a lot of people, it's healing in a lot of
It's not
deeper
really about
ways.
Coachella. I think it's about like actually putting in an effort to do things to get yourself out of your comfort zone and honor parts of yourself that you know are maybe neglected. And so I think like for you, like I'm so proud of you for like how much effort you've put in to get that sparkle back, because it does take energy, it takes effort. It's not easy when you're in a dark place to all of a sudden just be happy. Like you kind of have to fake it. You kind of have to put yourself in a position where you're like, okay, this used to make me happy. Like I'm going to do this.
Yeah. And I'm going to draw a clear delineation too, because I think there's a difference between like healing and then like going somewhere to like let your inner child have fun and to cut loose and to like sparkle and to shine.
Yeah.
And then there's a difference between like being like, I need to go to Coachella and like do a ton of drugs and like party to like escape. Like escapism is not the same as healing. And I think that there's very two distinct crowds that like go to these types of things. And there's some people who are there for like the love and the community and the environment. And there are other people that are there to escape the things that they're trying to heal from.
Yeah.
So there's a clear delineation between those two.
I love that. I love that. Well, thanks for coming on and joining me.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited. I think Brittany's probably going to come on towards the end of the year for another one of these. But I'm so happy that you got to finally come on in person since we used to just do it virtual.
I know, in the studio.
This feels kind of stupid, but like, do you want to share your like socials so people can like check out your Coachella content and see these carousels?
You can check me out on socials if you want. My @ is @Britt Correa with 1 T.
I'll put it in the description too, so you guys can see what we did during the weekend.
Yeah, and honestly, like the comments on my posts are all like, she's back. She's got her sparkle back. Like she's thriving. And so like, hopefully when other people check that out, if they do, if you find that to be a good use of your time, like I feel like it shines through. It's like palpable.
Love. Okay, I love you.
I love you.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I hope you leave here feeling motivated and inspired. Do not forget to rate and review the pod on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and don't forget to follow How I See It Pod so you can keep up with podcast updates and see who's coming on next. And if you're not already, come join the fam and follow @How Han Sees It. Thank you guys.